Cloudcast Media.
Drew Schlosberg Spotlight on the Community Show, amplifying the voices of social impact organizations, entrepreneurs, local nonprofits, and other community champions who shape the culture, creativity, and connectivity of San Diego. Brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union, bringing good things to San Diego for over 60 years. Learn more about what is good for you and good for all by visiting www.missionfed.com.
I'm Drew Schlosberg of Cloudcast Media. I've been looking forward to this interview for quite a while. We are chatting with Jess Baron. Did I pronounce your last name correctly?
You did.
Okay, very good. Sometimes you're never quite sure. Founder and executive director of Guitars and Ukes in the classroom. It's all about music and what music does for our lives. And if Drew ran the world, it would just be only about music and so forth. How long have you been doing the business?
I started this work as a kid when I was 19 in undergrad school. So it's been very long.
You're still a kid. Are you kidding me? So you did this at what college?
At University of Wisconsin-Madison was where I started the work experimentally in my sophomore year.
Bucky Badger. So you from Wisconsin?
I'm not, but I'm a Midwesterner.
Where are you from?
The Chicago area.
What part?
I grew up in Evanston.
Northwestern, beautiful, beautiful. Yes, that's a great area, and that whole North Shore and all that aspect of it. Is your family still there?
No. Well, my brother is there, but my parents have both passed on.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Talk about the mission of the organization.
Well, our mission is kind of a trifold thing. We want to expand the role of music in education. So when you think about traditional music ed, that's very important, but it is one lane. And so what we're trying to do is create a superhighway so that music goes throughout the day and after school as a form not only of enrichment, but of education. So that's part of the mission, is to broaden our perspectives and broaden the opportunities and access to music. And then the other thing is to train anybody working with kids in an educational setting. And educational can be considered also in broad terms, because we work in hospitals. We work with children who are homebound by working with their educators and therapists. So anywhere music can go and serve, we want to train the professionals. These can be classified employees who are helping teachers. They can be the teachers themselves, pre-service teachers, and all of the different specialists, therapists, everyone from coaches and PE teachers to security guards and food service workers. We believe that a culturally rich environment is what kids need and deserve, and we want to support the adults to bring it.
Well, we've known this since people were walking upright. When you are around things that make you happy and smile, like music does. I've not met a person on the face of the earth that doesn't like some type of music. Might not be the type I like, but it doesn't make a difference. They like it, and that's all that counts. We know what that does for them. You know this well, because this is the field you're in. You know how it helps them physically, mentally, psychologically, socially, everything that's in between that as well. One of the guests we had on the show last week, was part of a documentary that was focused on using music for autistic kids.
Oh yeah,
and so it was Terrence and his mom. It's that documentary we're pushing out in one of the groups that we work with in that area. So, do you work specifically with this? Do you go into the schools? Do you just work anywhere where there's music and an opportunity for learning and enhancing someone's life?
Our focus is public education, but we welcome private school teachers and staff as well, but we will house our in-person work in public schools. And while the majority of the schools where we serve are Title I, that's not a requirement. So like right here in Scripps Ranch, we've been working with teachers at Dingman Elementary and at EB Scripps. Doors open. So during the school day, we're providing teaching artist residencies. And these are unusual because they're capacity building. They're not meant to be a plug and play. Here comes your teaching artist. There goes your teaching artist. Our teaching artists are helping the classroom faculty become music makers and music leaders for learning. So that's school day. After school, we're doing guitar programs in high poverty high schools here and in Los Angeles. And that's going incredibly well. We've got all these kids graduating at Lincoln, Garfield, and Morse who are just blowing us away with what they've learned and their passion. And then in the after school and evenings, that's when we're training the education professionals. And we're doing that virtually, but we are hoping to go back in person in both Los Angeles and San Diego in the next 6 months.
So how many people do you work with? I mean, you must have a massive group of volunteers and
we do.
And so forth, and that are in. Are you at any one time? How many schools are you in San Diego, so to speak?
Well, in San Diego City, we're in 141 schools.
Wow.
In San Diego County, it's 181, I believe.
Right.
But we also, because of the online access, are working with teachers from 39 different states. And the neat part about that is they're all together. So during the pandemic isolation years where we were locked down or scared to even be on the same sidewalk, teachers were together an hour a week. And they were from South Carolina, from Vermont, from Portland, from Chula, and from west to east, from New York. It didn't matter. And they all talked as if they were in the same room and connected. And they wrote songs together. They played music together. And this really lifted spirits, but it also empowered them to get the music to the kids every day online. That was amazing because that's what made little kids turn on the camera and show up in the morning, even though the internet was a hard place to be if you were 4 or 5 or 6. Let alone us.
Yeah, there's no question about it. We're chatting with Jess Baron. She is the founder and executive director of Guitars and Ukes in the Classroom. I'm Drew Schlosberg. As you're listening to another edition of Drew Schlosberg Spotlight on the Community Show, the nation's longest-running community podcast. We're now in our 17th year in this great mission-fed studio. Mission-fed's been doing wonderful things for San Diegans for 60 years. Did you always enjoy music? So when you came out of the womb, so to speak, I needed an instrument to start playing. Did you like it from, and were your parents musicians?
So my mother loved to sing, but she couldn't hold a tune. But that didn't stop her, and that was a good thing.
Of course.
A very, very good thing.
Right. How about your dad?
My father loved classical piano, and he studied as a kid. But on the way to his funeral, we sat with his childhood piano teacher. She rode with us. She was very important to him. And I said to her, Bertha, what was my dad like as a music student? And she pursed her lips and she looked me straight in the eyes and she said, well, your father played what he felt, but it wasn't exactly what was on the page. And I just loved that. It was very true of him.
And being a great music teacher, she said, so what? That's what he loves to play. Are you kidding me? Doesn't make a difference.
That's right. She responded to his passion and his drive.
Which is what VAPA and what music and what the arts and sports should all be about, and we all know what that does for you in that aspect. So, do you hear a lot from the content teachers? I spent some time in my career working for San Diego Unified Development Curriculum, but that these kids, boy, they are really embracing filling the topic: math, social studies, language arts, whatever, because they got engaged with this music, and now it unlocked something in them that wasn't unlocked before. Do you hear a lot of that?
Every single day. Yep.
Right. That is why we will write in the history books, if we haven't already done it, what in the heck were we thinking when we were cutting the arts out of the schools, when that is the last thing we should cut out. But thanks to you guys are embedded in so many of these schools. I think it's absolutely terrific in that area. Do you work with the universities at all?
You know, pre-service teachers who are studying are always welcome to train with us, and we don't ever say no to anyone. So we don't have a formal relationship with the universities, but we're tapped in, and people are participating if they wish to. Right.
No, I think that's terrific. And is there sort of a little resurgence of more folks in VAPA coming to the schools, or is it still holding steady, or is it still a challenge?
So it depends on which district.
Right.
You know, we have lots of very small districts here in San Diego County.
Right.
The big district, the monolith is very, very active. We have a phenomenal team at VAPA. Russ Sperling is our director, and Vanella, incredible programs manager, Laura Williams.
Right.
So these folks are really inspired, and they're doing everything they can with the resources they have to increase access to music, but they don't have enough.
Right.
And Proposition 28 that passed is very good, and it will help, but it's complicated because that ballot measure is sending money directly to schools, and it's on a per capita basis. So the little schools are only getting a little bit. And of that money that they're getting, 80% needs to fund highly qualified certificated arts faculty coming through VAPA. 1% only goes to the district for admin, which you can imagine is like you walk in the door and the money runs out.
Right.
And then the 19% left over goes to quote unquote other arts. And that's where the magic happens for us and all of the other arts orgs in San Diego that are directly contracted with San Diego Unified.
Yeah, we come back from break, Jess, and talk about how do people get engaged with this great program that you have, and what can they do? Can they support it? Can they contribute to it? Can they volunteer for it? Can they donate instruments to it? Everything in between in that area. What also is such a key part of it is we know this. It's just spreading all these wonderful stories. We can't talk about these stories enough. That's why next time you're going to be on the show, we're going to bring on some great teachers or some students that have benefited from it.
Oh, that'd be great.
Well, we all know that's listen, it's that's half the deal in this. And then when we finish up part of our second segment, besides what our listeners can do, you're all about collaboration. You love collaboration. It's in your DNA. Talk about the different groups that you collaborate with, NAM and so forth, San Diego Foundation. When we return with Jess Baron, she's the founder and executive director of Guitars and Ukes in the Classroom. I'm Drew Schlosberg of Cloudcast Media. You've been listening to another edition of Drew Schlosberg Spotlight in the Community. Cloudcast Media brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union, doing great things for San Diegans for more than 60 years. We will be right back.
When you do your banking with Mission Fed, you get great rates on auto and home loans. That's good for you, but something good also happens for a lot of other people. We're not for profit, so we put money back into the community to help lots of great nonprofits to keep San Diego strong. So you're not just getting something good, you're doing something good. Come to Mission Fed. It's banking that's good for all.
Brand amplification is the DNA of Cloudcast Media, and our code is the powerful blending of sound, voice, and storytelling to lift local brands and their communities. Whether it is our Brandcast, Schoolcast, or Causecast platforms, the unifying ethos is all about this community, the one you call home. If you dare to dream and want to explore the brand amplification of Cloudcast, a national leader in local podcasting and other Winfluence strategies, please visit us at cloudcast.us.
I'm Drew Schlosberg of Cloudcast Media, and we are back with Jess Baron, founder and executive director of Guitars and Ukes in the Classroom. You're listening to another edition of our Spotlight show brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union. Right before break, we're just talking about your footprint is huge, and that's great, and that's wonderful, and you want to make it huger, if that's a word. But talk about how important the collaboration is. Can't do it by yourself. You work with so many different groups. Chat about that.
Well, collaboration is really our middle name. And without our collaborative partners, and there are so many, actually too many to even mention completely, so I apologize in advance for all of you who deserve recognition that we have such a short time constraint here. But I will say that the NAM Foundation, based up in Carlsbad, which is the National Association for Music Merchants, they really represent the industry of music production, of instruments, sheet music, gear, swag, you name it. It's happening with NAM, N-A-M-M. They gave us our first big grant, and that really put us from a pilot program that was flourishing into something that meant we could hire a little bit of help and pay ourselves a little bit of money after 7 years of woodshedding. And they have stood by us now for 18 years, and we are so immensely grateful for their commitment to not only music as a whole field, but music education and supporting alternative and recreational forms of music making. So we got involved with them, and they've supported the growth of all of our initiatives like Math and Music, bringing math education into a musical experience for kids to engage them and apply those math concepts intuitively and pragmatically. Super, super effective. Our work in literacy, promoting pre-reading skills. We're talking about phonological awareness, understanding what sounds are, what they'll do, what they do together, how they make phonemes and words. So NAM has been with us all the way, even though we are very alternative. We're a complement to music education. And then from there have been many other wonderful foundations, the Martin Guitar Charitable Foundation, the D'Addario Music Foundation, Music Nomads, One for Music. It just goes on and on. Outside of music, we are really grateful to work with organizations that are broadly focused on serving the community, like the San Diego Foundation. That has been game-changing for our little organization because we are doing Level Up for the third summer in a row here, which is pandemic recovery and enrichment for kids after summer school is over. We have openings in the clubs. We have 16 school locations. Registration is still open for summer for kids in the elementary grades. What can I tell you, Drew? It's just incredible. The love that's coming in our direction and the brilliance and capacity building is just incredible.
Because it can't be done enough. It needs to be replicated. You have a nice footprint in other parts of the country as well. But listen, I think, as you know, I love music. I can't get enough of music. And it does so much for everybody. We all know that. That's nothing earth-shaking in that area. But it's just being exposed to it. And you know this, working with those underrepresented kids. And there's no difference about the kid who's never been to the mountains in San Diego or some that have never been to the beach in San Diego,
right,
who have never been to a Padre game.
Right. Some
have never seen a performance. Ever.
Right, ever.
And when people think, well, that's impossible, I go, it's not impossible. That's what happens when you're in a major city. And to expose them to this and to see their eyes light up, no matter what ages they are, what space they're in, you work with underrepresented kids and that have some challenges with learning handicaps, whether it's autism or whether it's dyslexia or whatever. It's just such a game changer in this. What can our listeners do besides, just we love this, we can't talk about it enough? Can they support you by donations of money, certainly, instruments, teaching, volunteers, all of the above?
All of the above. The teaching, not so much, because our methodology is developmental. It's very deep. It's based on learning theory, child development, child psychology. That's my background. And so it takes quite a bit to learn to work with us. And we aren't looking for hot shots. We're not looking for that MFA fabulous musician. That's somebody who needs to get credentialed and learn to teach music.
Right.
We are looking for those soft touch people who are all about making music easy, accessible, available, and saying yes to every effort. And that is true for the adults just as much for the children. So many adults were shut off from music. It either wasn't available in the schools or there was no money in the family to support something like that. They missed the window where they felt like they could get good at it, and so they counted themselves out. We are the big do-over. So what people can do is engage with us. They can write to us. They can say, I have the skill, I want to contribute, or I'm really good at something that I want to advise you on. We are open listeners. Our board is fabulous. We're interested in developing committee relationships as a pathway to board service, or just because you want to serve on a committee and help us do something. For instance, we've never had marketing, and we've never had a marketing budget. Everything has been do the work. Just get it done. So if you're a marketing person, you're like, I like this idea. I want to do something and make this bigger, get the word out. We'd love to hear from you. Any area, finance, anybody that's passionate. We're here to become part of your life and bring meaning to your life. So please connect with us. Donations are really important right now because the high school guitar programs have really blown up. It's just incredible. But we have to give every single one of those kids their own guitar.
Right.
If they don't have an instrument, they aren't going to be able to practice and they won't be able to keep learning. So that's a fund that we really ask everybody in the community to help us do because it is changing lives.
So how do they get a hold of you? Do they go to the website? How's that work?
Yeah, the website's really easy. It's just Guitars in the Classroom. It's the old name before we added ukuleles in 2015. So guitarsintheclassroom.org. That org is really important. We don't sell anything. We are just providing services. So that, or they can email me personally at Jess, Jess, at guitarsintheclassroom.org. And I would be very happy to talk to anyone.
So if someone's got an old Yamaha they haven't used in quite a while and it's been sitting collecting dust in the closet, is that something you would take? Obviously, you got to be very careful that, no, we don't want your broken down guitar or your banjo or whatever the case may be. It's got to be in working condition. But do you accept instruments?
We do, and they don't even have to be perfectly working because we have volunteer luthiers.
Right, very good. Okay.
So we will take what you've got. If it is completely unplayable, the neck is bowed, the bridge is coming off, it's a disaster,
right.
We can still rehome that into a classroom as a palette for community art making for the kids.
Right, and it's just guitars and ukes that you'll take?
We will place anything. Right now I'm working on placing a saxophone as a memorial gift. We do a lot of memorial work for people who've passed, who love music, whose families want to honor them.
Yeah, well, I hope my daughter gets back into the violin. She was a great violin player as a kid and got asked to be in the youth symphony, but she said, Dad, I just want to play outside. Have fun, knock yourself out. We'll put the violin down for now.
You know what will get her playing?
Yeah.
You pick up a guitar.
Well, my mom played guitar and, played folk music. And one of my longtime friends is Peter Yarrow of Peter, Paul, and Mary. Yeah. And he comes out and does some things every once in a while. I've had a chance to meet him at all. He's just a delightful person, still doing great things, for, the schools and everybody else in that aspect of it. But no, Drew tried the banjo once because my buddy is a banjo player and it did not go too well. And maybe it could have been because I only practiced 5 seconds a day. That could have been part of it.
Well, come to GITC, sign up as a community volunteer. We will teach you to play guitar or ukulele. It is painless. It is easy. It is fun. You'll be back in the heart of the education community, hanging out with teachers. It won't cost you a nickel, and you'll be a happy man.
That's always a good thing. And one of the things I want to do, we can talk about this offline. Classroom of the Future Foundation is one of my passions. I've been doing that for 25 years. We do level up grants also, focusing more on college and career awareness and pathways. But what a no-brainer to hook up with music and you on a pathway, because there's so many pathways. That's what NAM is all about, of course, in different areas of that. So we'll do that offline. Any final words?
Thank you for caring so much about music in your life and bringing it into your work and bringing me and any of us who are supporting access, acceptable, intuitive, hands-on, you can do it music for people out there, your listeners in particular, who are auditory people. That's why they listen to your podcast. They are auditory learners. If you are hearing this podcast and you're thinking, I'd like to do that, please drop us a line. Thank you, Drew, for making this possible today.
Well, we're just getting started, Jess. This won't be the last time you're on. Looking forward to other interviews somewhere down the road with some of the folks that have benefited from what you're doing. And again, we're just getting started. Wishing you nothing but great success moving forward.
Thank you very much, Drew. If you're out there and you want to sign up, go to the website, sign up for free classes. We'll see you down the line.
That's great. We're chatting with Jess Baron. She's the founder and executive director of Guitars and Ukes in the Classroom. I'm Drew Schlosberg. You've been listening to another edition of Drew Schlosberg Spotlight on the Community Show, the nation's longest-running community podcast. We're now in our 17th year in this beautiful Mission Fed studio. And Mission Fed has been doing great things in our community for 60-plus years. Thanks for listening.
You've been listening to an episode of Drew Schlosberg's Spotlight on the Community Show, amplifying the voices of social impact organizations, entrepreneurs, local nonprofits, and other community champions who shape the culture, creativity, and connectivity of San Diego community. Brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union, bringing good things to San Diego for over 60 years. Learn more about what is good for you and good for all by visiting www.missionfed.com.
Cloudcast Media.